and welcome to Chant Day. Today is a beautiful day. This is the day that righteousness has made. Let us rejoice in this day. Bless that the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart is acceptable in the sight of righteousness. The psalm today is 66, and it's titled, How Awesome Are the Works of Righteousness, Goodness and Mercy. How awesome are they? So we're going to start off with the psalm today. And I have my this is in roasted roots. This is another tea, and I read the back of it. It says, master the unknown by knowing your deep self. So things that are unknown, you can master them by knowing your deep self. So I realize that I'm healing, and in the grief and the brokenness, I am coming out like a phoenix. Rise, blessed rise, everyone. So we move forward, and we know that we are going to be okay no matter what the circumstances of our world. We see that there's a lot of different situations happening in our world, and we want to be vigilant. We want to be holding on to righteousness as much as we can, because that is not what's happening in the world. We have world leaders that are coming together, and the security of the United States and the nation that we know as America is kind of shaky, if to say the least. So because of that, we have to err on the side of kindness. We have to err on the side of righteousness, mercy, love, compassion. These are attributes that are going to keep us in a stable, steady momentum because of what we're facing in the world today. So the psalm today, how awesome are the works of righteousness. So this is a psalm, it's a song, it's a psalm. You can use these lyrics to create a song, actually, with a rhythm and a melody. So we're just going to read it for today. The first verse is, shout for joy to righteousness, all the earth. And if you look at the earth, all the earth is waking up. It's 555 in the rise, and the earth is waking up. We are waking up to a full moon. I woke up to a moon that is beautifully full and bright and shining. And where does that moon get its light? There's another entity that's giving it light during the night. See how powerful that is? So the moon itself doesn't have any light, it's darkness. However, there is a light that shines on it from the sun. And that power of the sun gives us the ability to see the moon at night in its fullness. It's just beautiful. So we shout for joy to righteousness, all the earth. Chant a song to the glory of the name of righteousness. And that's your personal business. Okay? There's too much war and strife going on because some people call this name, some people call that name. Some people choose to, be out of the system and not be part of that, but be part of the system of the earth and the natural world. So we have wars coming from religion. Yeah, it's sad, but that's true. And you would think that the foundation of religion would be kindness and mercy and love and righteousness. And that's what the foundation is. But that is not always what people grab onto, because the divisiveness and the differences create conflict and turmoil that, creates division. This one is against that one, and that one is against that one, and it just becomes this divisive relation. So in the psalm, when I chant the psalm, I translate the psalm into words of liberation, and it's personal to what you call. So if you call God, you call Lord, you call Jesus, you call Jehovah, you call Selassie the First, Rastafari. You calling names that are personal to you, that have evolved in your life and revealed to you in your life. And that's personal. Nobody should discriminate against you because you call Selassie the First, for example. No one should discriminate against you because you call Buddha, or Allah. Because these are personal names and words that people have that represent righteousness, mercy, goodness, and love and kindness. So when we chant the glory of righteousness' name, we give to righteousness glorious adulation and song and melody. So that is personal to you. That's your personal relationship. And we have a lot of followers, but not leaders. So in verse 3, speak to righteousness. And speak to righteousness. How awesome are righteous works. So great is the righteousness's power that righteousness's enemies come cringing to righteousness. See how I translated that into the words of liberation. So when you read this, your focus is righteousness, mercy, and love, and not necessarily on the different names of God, Lord, and all this other names, these labels. You unpack the label, and beneath that you find love, true love, kindness, mercy, honor, integrity, compassion, all of the attributes that represent that love and merciful Most High. So in verse 4, again, all the earth worships righteousness and chants to righteousness, chanting to righteousness' name. And then it ends with Selah. So in the scriptures, we see Selah. Sometimes we see Amen. Selah is significant because it represents that Trinity of Selassie, and it's a hidden evidence of this one that is of the Trinity. So we chant to that. We chant to that Trinity, that triune, righteous, Most High. So in verse 5, it speaks, come and see what righteousness has done. And righteousness's awesome works toward the children of humans. Okay? Righteousness turned the sea into dry land. And ones passed through the river on foot and rejoiced in righteousness. Righteousness rules through a might for all time to come. So when things pass away, when things go, righteousness is what is steadfast and will remain. So come and see what righteousness has done, right? Turning the sea into dry land where people are able to pass through the river on foot, and rejoicing in this righteousness, ruling through a mighty hand for all time to come, whose eyes keep watch on the nations. Let not the rebellious exalt themselves. Selah. So we see in verse 8 now, bless our righteousness, O people. Let the sound of righteous adulation be heard. So we want that sound of righteous songs, of righteous melody to be heard. And then verse 9, who has kept I life among the living and has not let I feet slip? Okay, it's righteousness. It is the Most High of the people. Verse 10, for righteousness have tested I. Remember I said that in Psalm yesterday, how we are tested, our righteousness is tested. Are we going to err on the side of righteousness and kindness? Things pop up in our lives to test to see whether we are going to go on the side of righteousness. Okay? So that testing and that trying is compared to silver tried in the fire, right? Just like the word purified in the fire 7 times. So righteousness brought I into the net and laid a crushing burden on I backs. And righteousness let ones ride over I heads. I went through fire and through water. Yet righteousness have brought I out to a place of abundance. So what does that mean? That means that you may be going through fire, you may be going through a flood, you may be going through a breakup, you may be going through a death in your family, you may be going through something that's crushing and burdening on your back. It's just, you're in this net of sadness, right? You're in this net of depression and anxiety. However, you've been brought to that place and you've been brought there so that you can be strengthened, and you're being brought out of there so that you can have a place of abundance. Now you're going to appreciate the car. You're going to appreciate the house. You're going to appreciate the wealth that you've accumulated because you've seen what you've gone through to get there, you know? So it's going to be a place of abundance. Like my mom said, when it comes, it's going to come in abundance. It's going to all come one time. So we're going to hold on to the knowledge of that righteousness and that future of abundance of righteousness. Because remember, that righteousness was the Word. And the Word was in the beginning. And the Word became flesh and manifested itself on the earth and was crucified, right? And has rise again to become and to give life in abundance, not to destroy, not to break up, not to hurt, not to harm, not to crush, but to give life in abundance and give it in such a way that you're going to be like, wow, I got all this. Oh my goodness, you know? So we have to keep that momentum going. So verse 13, I will come into the house of righteousness with burnt offerings. I will perform vows to righteousness. So you're going to, it's like you're getting married to righteousness. You're getting married to love and kindness, right? You're marrying that compassion because that is what is going, you know, that is who you're performing your vows to righteousness. So when a man and a woman gets married, their vows are to each other, but it ultimately is to maintain that righteous relationship, right? That righteousness, that goodness, mercy, love, honesty, integrity. You know, you're going to be forthcoming and honest with the person you're in a relationship with. So we see that we have that in the Psalm, that you're performing these vows to righteousness as you would perform it, a vow to someone that you're coming together with, right? So your lips have uttered, your mouth has promised when you were in trouble, right? That's the most time when people find righteousness and find God, when they're in the worst trouble ever. They get down on their knees and they're just like, ah. So in verse 14, it talks about that trouble. Okay, when you were in trouble, you promised, you made a vow, you're like, I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to do this again because so what are you going to offer? In verse 15, I will offer burnt offerings of fattened animals with the smoke of the sacrifice of rams. I will make an offering of bulls and goats, Selah. So in verse 15, we're going into the ancient times of burnt offerings where they would sacrifice an animal on the altar. We have this happening with infanticide, where infants are being sacrificed on the altar. Yeah, it's bad. And it's kind of opposite of what righteousness is about. Righteousness is about love and life and giving that in abundance. But when we see babies being sacrificed on the altar, it's towards something nefarious, okay? Because you're destroying a life. You're not giving that life an abundance of opportunity. You're cutting that life down as a sacrifice to what? That's the question, right? What are you sacrificing these babies to? Remember, the former things have passed. All this burnt offerings and all of this have passed. We are now into the new, right, revelation. So those things that were former things, we don't do anymore. We're a new person, a new revelation of life and love. And we have to be about that. In verse 16, it kind of gives us that reciprocity of come and listen, all that fear this omnipotent one that is righteousness. Come and listen, all that fear righteousness. And I will tell what righteousness has done for I life. Because righteousness saved me from a Jeep accident this summer. Righteousness has saved my heart from the grieving of my son who passed. Righteousness has helped and has given me strength in a breakup I'm going through with someone. You know what I mean? So righteousness is my go-to. It is the go-to when you are feeling lost, when you're feeling betrayed, when you're feeling taken advantage of, or when you're feeling used and abused. Righteousness is your go-to. You may call God, Lord, Jesus, Jehovah, Selassie the First, Rastafari, Allah, Buddha. All of it is representative of righteousness, goodness, mercy, and love. And people have a right to that. They just approved, I think, in one state, the 10 Commandments, I think in Louisiana. And when you do that, you're discriminating because the 10 Commandments are part of a Christian religion. What about the other religions? You need to have the, Allah, the beneficent, the merciful. You need to have something like that too. You need to have all the religions represented. When you do one religion, you're being a dictator and you want the world to follow this one narrative, right? So you have to be careful when it comes to indoctrinations and dictatorships and societies where one ideology is perpetuated and accepted, whereas others are not. This is how enslavement of Africans happened. Okay, you are doing something to represent one group and deny another group the right to that same achievements, so it's similar. So we see the US, America, reverting into the slave days of slavery, of what that represented, because some politicians speak about slavery in term in terms of black people learned skills. They benefited from slavery, and they justifying the enslavement of Africans and justifying it to meet their to kind of buffer their guilt of legalizing something that was oppressive, depressive. When you legalize the oppression and the genocide of a people, it becomes blood on your hands, and you have to account to that. So instead of accounting to that, you're going to victimize the victim. You're going to re-victimize the victim. And this is what's happening in our country. And it's very sad. I don't want to associate myself in this way and say our country, because I'm not of this world. I am in this world, but I'm not of it. I do not ascribe to what the world ascribes to. That's why you see I don't want to use the word sin for single, but I am with myself. In other words, I'm with myself. And the partner that I had, bless their heart. I wish them well on their journey. They've met someone, they found someone else, and it hurts. Yes, it does. You're human. However, it seems as if the path, my path and my journey is being cleared, and I may end up, by myself, with myself, loving myself, honoring myself, giving myself what I needed to give myself, where I was giving it to someone else. You know what I mean? So that is a full circle revelation, and I am gonna still love. I have to keep love in my heart, and love is what the key is for me, and it's going to always be the key that's going to open doors. And these doors are going to, I'm going to have faith, and I'm going to do the work, and behind the door I will be revealed what that is. So in verse 16, we're calling everyone to come and listen and to talk about what righteousness has done for your life. And in verse 17, I cried to righteousness with I mouth, and high chanting of songs and melody was on I tongue. So when you're crying, I'm crying to righteousness with I mouth, and the high chanting of melody and song was on I tongue. When I had cherished the inequity in I heart, the most righteousness would not have listened. So you don't want to cherish inequity or sin or wrongness in your heart. You don't want to cherish that. You want to cherish goodness, love, and mercy and kindness in your heart, because then righteousness is going to listen. Because once you are building the relationship with righteousness, doing righteous things, doing good things, cleaning your space, picking up the trash, putting trash away, throwing it away, these are righteous deeds or actions, opening the door for someone, being kind to someone, greeting them with your words, all of these things are part of that righteous life that you want to cherish, because that's when the main big righteous is going to listen. Okay? The creator of all that is good and righteous is going to be listening. So, and has attended to the voice of your words, because you are cherishing righteousness in your heart. You don't have animosity for someone. You don't have a grudge against someone. Your heart is light. It's free. It's like a feather, right? It's light. But when you have stuff bogging you down in your heart, You don't like that one. This one did this to you. This one is weird, and this one is this, and you just have all this stuff in your heart about someone. It's going to be heavy. You're going to be loaded down. And how can righteous creation listen to that? It's noise. Get rid of it. Get rid of the noise in your life and embrace the life of love, unity, respect, kindness. Embrace all of that. So as we end the psalm, verse 20 speaks, "Blessed be righteousness, because righteousness has not rejected I and I words and communication," right? Righteousness has not rejected that because I'm cherishing righteousness in my heart. So when you have that righteousness in your heart, righteousness that is of God, of Lord, of Jesus, Jehovah, Selassie the First, all the names of righteousness, Redeemer, long suffering, all of this represents that. You're not going to be rejected. Your words are not going to be rejected. Okay? You're going to not be removed from the steadfast love of righteousness. You're going to be in there with it all the way. Steadfast love of righteousness. So that righteousness, that steadfast love is omnipresent. It's omnipresent. It's always there. No matter if you're erring on the side of wrongness, you got upset at someone and you slam the door, righteousness is still there. It's not going to go away. It's going to be there. It's you. You're the one who has to embrace that. Because when you don't, that's going to be your downfall. It's, things are going to happen to you that's not going to be good and well. And it's going to really give you a bad taste in your mouth. So you want to hold on to righteousness, erring on the side of kindness. Okay? Some people may look at you as weak because you're so kind, or they may say she's fake, she's too kind. But you cannot live by what people are telling you, or what people are, the noise. In other words, you can't live with the noise. Social media, all the likes and the pictures and all of this, you can't live with the noise of that. You have to quiet your life, quiet yourself. And in the Chant psalm, I always look at the verse of the day. Selah and Selah again for the psalm today. The verse of the day is coming from Psalm 121, one of my favorite psalms. Drop the mic on that. Verse 7 to 8. So our verse today is coming from Psalm 121. And I lift up mine eyes to the hills. From where come mine strength? Mine strength comes from righteousness. That's where your strength comes from, right? So in verse 7 and 8 of Psalm 121, righteousness will keep I from all harm. Righteousness will watch over I life. Righteousness will watch over I coming and I going, now and for all time to come. Selah and Selah again. I receive that. I fully receive that, because there are things out there that can harm you. There's traps out there that can destroy your life. It's called alcohol. It's called cigarettes. It's called gambling. It's called sex. It's called drugs. It's called all of these things that can destroy your life. So when you are talking about righteousness, be careful, because that is what is going to keep you from harm. So you want to err on the side of righteousness. When you are playing violent video games, right? You are inviting destruction into your life. You're inviting things to happen that are not good because you are entering into your psyche violence with a machine. Instead, use your hands to crochet. I just learned this the other day, crochet. And I am thankful that my daughter showed me how to crochet. I had the crochet needles and the thread and all the stuff, but I never did venture into it until I had to, until my brokenness kept pushing me to pick up the pieces. So I took my crochet, and this is what I've started to do. Who knows what this may be? It may be a hat. I don't know. So my point to show that is that finding righteous things to do is going to build that steadfast love of righteousness. You know what I mean? Especially now that we're facing turmoil in our society. Big time turmoil. Okay? So I love the verse today, 7 and 8, verse 7 and 8 from Psalm 121. For those of you out there who pick a verse and write the verse on a paper and then do a picture of the verse, like you sketch a picture, go ahead and you can do that now. Get that started, because you can either pick a verse from Psalm 66. I really like blessed be righteousness, because righteousness has not rejected I and I words of love and communication with it, righteousness, or removed the steadfast love of righteousness from I and I. Exclamation mark, Selah and Selah again. I love that ending verse from Psalm 66 verse 20. Or Psalm 66 verse 19. But truly righteousness has listened and has attended to the voice of I and I words. So righteousness is listening to you. Goodness, mercy, love, you can call righteousness God, the omnipotent one, is listening to you. So what you're speaking out loud, what you're thinking silently, the righteousness knows it and can feel it and knows it and hears you, listens to you. So I love that the verse today gives us this commune and this ability to talk with each other about righteousness. And in the word today is changes. I welcome this because I'm going through a big change here. Someone I thought was my person has met someone else. I mean, it's just changes. I welcome change with love and enthusiasm. Honestly, I have to. In the pain and the hurt and the betrayal, I have to. So when I think of change and how best to handle change, I think of a sail catching the wind. I love that. With each change in wind direction, the sailor must adjust the sail to go in the desired direction, right? I approach I and I life in the same way. I could see change as an annoyance and let it frustrate me, or I could accept and tweak my point of view to stay pointed in the right direction. Change may be adjusting the sails of my thoughts and attitudes, or change may mean charting a new course. I receive that. Oh my goodness. I don't want to cry. That is powerful for me. Oh my goodness. Charting a new course. Oh my gosh. When I stay on my current course, I may find myself repeating unproductive actions that have not resulted in my preferred outcomes. So I can't stay on the current course. You know, I can't stay on this current course of being used and abused, betrayed and all that. I can't stay on that current course. because I'm repeating unproductive actions that have not resulted in my preferred outcomes. Trust and honesty and all of that, and love. When I step out in faith, because faith without works is nothing. So I have to have the works behind it. When I step out in faith, I open to new opportunities. New opportunities, right? And this is what faith is right here. And faith without works is nothing. So when I'm crocheting and I'm using my hands to make something, right? When I'm using my hands to make something, I'm having faith in what this is going to be. I don't know, but I'm still doing the work. I'm still doing the work of the crocheting, right? I'm still doing it. Okay? See it? Because faith without works is nothing. I even have a red one that I made. I don't know what this is going to be, but I created this one. Okay? So we're charting a new course. So we don't want to stay on the current course when you find yourself repeating unproductive actions. When you step out in faith, you're open to new opportunities. With each change, I remain tranquil and self-assured and set my sails for success. So this is what I receive. And I'm receiving this because of what I am going through, what I've been through, and where I'm going in my life. For everything, there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. This is from Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1. For everything, there is a season. There's a season to cry. There's a season to break up. There's a season to make up. Well, not make up, but to start anew, because I'm not going back into anything I was in before. I'm not. That's good that you've changed and you're a good, better person. You're not going to be betrayal anymore, but I won't be able to return there to that place again. So when I step out in faith, I open to new opportunities. With each change, I remain tranquil and self-assured and set my sails for success. Where's my picture? I think it's in there. I have to find it. So, let's see. I have a picture I did of a sailboat. And this word today is using sail catching the wind as metaphoric for the change and adjusting the sails of your thoughts and your attitudes so that you can chart a new course. So, and I can't find the picture. I took it down when I cleaned this wall up, but I'm going to find it so you all can see it because it's a beautiful picture of it's a beautiful picture that I did of the of a sailboat. And I made this sailboat because I can't find. I'm gonna find it for you all to see. Okay. It's there somewhere. So that is our psalm today, and our chant a psalm. Our psalm today was 66, 20 verses, and then we had our words. Our word today changes with that I welcome, and our verse today came from Psalm 121, verse 7 and 8, the righteousness will keep you from all harm. And that's true because that is very true. When you're doing right, you're going to be protected, you know. And if something happens and you're trying to do the right thing and something bad happens, it's something that you need to check about yourself, that this has happened. You can't point the finger at Peter or Susan that they did that to you. You have to look at yourself and say, what did I do? Self-realization. So those of you out there who saw my video of the oils that I make, and this is the oil that I made. YouTube took the video off because I had music in the background that was copyrighted music. So, and they took it down. So I'm going to have to bottle up some more and don't put any music in the background so you can see it. But you can order these by sending me a message, okay, to www. Let me see if I can. You can send me a message at my website, okay? And if you have something to write with, go ahead and write it now. It's www.negus, Negus, and that's an Amharic word. It's an Ethiopian word that means king. So Negus, Negus, education, and education is spelled education.com. So you go to www.neguseducation.com. If you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see the link for my website, and you can send me a message on there. These are the sizes of the bottles. Okay, this is the size of the bottle. And it's about, I would say these are 2-ounce bottles or 4 ounces. I'm not sure exactly. But they're $20 and there's no shipping cost. You only pay the $20. You can go to my PayPal and, do that there. Once you do that, I will be able to see it. Your address will be on the PayPal where you want it to be shipped, and I will send it to you. I am going to my university, to the lab, so we can get this patented because it's important. This is healing people. I fell on my bottom when I was roller skating and put this on. My goodness, the pain stopped completely. Okay, I broke my arm, this arm here, and I healed it with aloe, with this oil, and I didn't have to have surgery. My arm is fine. I mean, it's just a miracle. This is a miracle oil. So those of you out there who want this oil, it's a miracle oil. It's an oil that comes from the painkiller plant, and the painkiller tree. The painkiller tree, let's see if I can find it here. It's medicinal. It's a medicinal plant, and it bears a fruit called the nuni fruit. And I'm trying to find the scientific name for this. So the scientific name is Morinda citrifolia. Morinda citrifolia. citrifolia is the scientific name of the commonly known plant, Noonie. The name Morinda citrifolia is also referring to the botanical name that is originally derived from the two Latin words morus, imputing to mulberry, and indicus, imputing to Indian. It belongs to the Rubicaceae family. So we see we have some indica, some indicus in this plant. Excuse me. And in the Polynesian healers have used this fruit for thousands of years to help treat a variety of health problems such as diabetes, high blood pressure, aches, pains, burns, arthritis, inflammation, tumors, the effects of aging. People can't believe that I am almost 60 years old. And parasitic, viral, and bacterial infections. So this Noonie oil is for external use only. Don't drink it because it's got tea tree oil, it's got coconut oil in it to pull the healing medicinal potency of the plant into the oil. However, there are Noonie, there are the drink that you can take, that you can, ingest. I make the drink, but I don't, it's known to impact your liver adversely because it's so strong and powerful. You probably just need a teaspoon. I was drinking a whole bunch of it. So be careful because there are some side effects to drinking the Noonie. This is not to drink. This is an oil for your skin and for pain. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Okay, this is what it looks like. So it's the oil. You put it on your shoulder for pain, like this. And you can smell the fruit in it. Some people say it smells stinky, but it keeps away the mosquitoes. It also heals your pain. So there are numerous names for Noonie. It's also known as Indian mulberry, the great Morinda cheese fruit, because it smells like this cheesy stink. Morinda mouse's pineapple, yellow root, Jumbi breadfruit, hog apple, painkiller. So this is the name that I use for the oil, painkiller. Because Noonie means the female parts. Is also there's a language, I'm not sure what the language is, but there's a language that uses that word Noonie to represent the female part. Okay, so instead of using Noonie, I use painkiller healing oil. So that is the name of my oil that I make. The leaves are also good for pain. So when you take the leaves, it's used for arthritis by wrapping around the affected joint. It's for headaches by applying it to the forehead, and for burns, sores, and wounds. So the leaf, I used the leaf after my home birth, and I sat on the leaf to heal the pain of being, giving birth. Anyone out there who gave birth knows that your body stretches like a rubber band and then it has to bing back together. Then this leaf helped that process. So this is where we're going to wrap up. I know I went into all this other stuff, but this is what true religion is about. It's about the fullness of the person's physical, intellectual, emotional, and social growth. I call pies. So when we look at pies, we look at all the things that are going to support these slices of the pies. And staying in a righteousness is going to be one of the things that are going to help. So that's why I chant the psalm, and that's why I translate the psalm into words of liberation, so that you can be liberated with the word and you can know that you are not alone. No matter if you are sitting in a home by yourself, you are not alone because you have yourself. You have you. Okay? People want a partner, they want friends, they want companionship. That's normal. I wanted that, and I pushed for that. I wanted the person. I wanted this. I wanted us to grow old together. But sometimes you have to realize that what you want, a other person doesn't want, and you have to realize that you need a team player on your team. You don't need somebody that's going to be counterproductive to your team. So I send love to everyone out there, even the ones who betrayed me and hurt me, made me cry tears for days. I send you love and kindness and mercy and compassion and all the great attributes that is from above. So with that in mind, I want everyone to have a blessed day. Keep on chanting the psalm a day and realizing that you are loved. You are loved. Have a beautiful day, everybody. We're under an hour today. Have a blessed day.